In baseball research, we often talk a lot about lower half power, rotational sequencing, and trunk velocity in terms of pitching mechanics. But what if one of the more overlooked factors in velocity and spin rate is also one of the smaller factors, right? It can be your grip strength, or even more so, your finger strength, the rate of force development of that finger strength, and your hand anatomy in and of itself. These can have profound influences over fastball performance, and guess what? They can be trained in pitchers. So there is this 2024 study which used a sensor-embedded baseball to measure the forces applied by each finger during release. The subjects were 21 trained college pitchers, and the research also assessed general grip strength, finger length, and rate of force development, particularly in the index and middle fingers. So here's what they found. Middle finger force output strongly correlated with both higher velocity and higher spin rate. RFD, how quickly force is produced, was just as predictive as peak force. So pinch strength using the thumb and index middle fingers also correlated with faster fastballs. And then anatomical variations mattered too. The greater length difference between the index and middle finger was associated with even better spin characteristics. So all the data gathered though in this study was real time using live throws and validated sensors. So what does this study tell us? Well, it shifts the attention to the final link in the kinetic chain, right? The hand force generated by the body is only valuable if we can be effectively transferred into the ball, right? And the fingers, well, they're basically the last place that happens. What's especially important here is the rate of force development, the ability to generate and apply force in milliseconds just before release. This matters more than just static grip strength. The middle finger's role also fits what we already know from high-speed video. It's often the last point of contact on, let's say, a four seam, influencing spin rate and spin axis. And anatomical differences like finger length discrepancy appear to influence natural spin efficiency. That makes this not just about strength, but also how do we individualize the way we're programming. We've always emphasized forearm and grip strength, right? But what this study further validates is our focus that we typically utilize on targeted finger training. A lot of times we'll use isometric pinch holds to train sustained output, focusing on index, middle finger, and even thumb combinations with all of those, right? We'll include banded finger flexion drills to build concentric speed and force application. And then we're also going to train eccentric deceleration metrics, right, through finger extension resistance, which supports clean, healthy release mechanics and helps to build the antithesis of our force generation. In our initial eval, we will also take an anatomical variance into account, right? So if a pitcher has a longer middle finger or noticeably longer index to middle finger discrepancy, we're not going to try and normalize anything there, right? Obviously we can't, but we're going to train it appropriately and build that into their pitch design strategy. So in closing, what this study confirms is something we've already seen on force plates and in biomechanical data, which is pitching is a hand-dominated skill for sure, and that the fingers are more than just steering wheels. They're levers of force that we can really pull on. So if you're looking to improve velocity or sharpen your fastball spin rate, I wouldn't just think of focusing on my legs or my trunks. While they're obviously massively important in this, we can also take a look at what our fingers are bringing to the table.